Good afternoon and welcome to What Thad Thinks, powered by Better Beans Branding. Very excited to back-to-back weeks. Since last week we were slackers. Mostly Neil was slacking, but last week we had been slackers. We rebounded after 5 weeks of no podcasts. Now we will have our listeners with back-to-back weeks. I've got like 15 texts this week thanking me for getting the podcast back up last week. And, we really are ready with lots of great episodes over the next few weeks. So make sure to subscribe, like us, please leave us a review, or let us know what you're thinking and who you'd like to hear from, or as long as it's not Neil, we can see what we can do for that. So like us, subscribe, leave us a review. To remind you, or remind those of you who have had your head in the sand, you have exactly 14 shopping days left. If you have not located a present for me, I can email you a link to some different ideas that I've posted online of things you can send me. 14 days left. I am way behind on Christmas shopping, which seems a little strange. So I'm going to start hitting click a lot today. So I know lots of you are probably behind on shopping for me, or maybe I was your first gift. Either way, we can get that. Remember, this podcast is powered by Better Beans Branding, your one-stop shop for interior design, brand design, rebrands, remodels, and new construction projects. That company is popping. Shout out to the Beans team who has, they're actively hiring a couple of new designers. More people for the sign department. I mean, those guys are crushing it. So shout out to all those people other than Neil that work for that company that are doing such a good job. Anyways, I guess without further ado, we can't get on to the good part of the show without doing the bad part first. So, Neil, are you here, or do I get lucky? Nope, you're here. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Thank you for the reminder that Christmas is here.
Yeah. Have you located me a present yet?
What? Cole?
I have your present.
I'm sure you do. You're ahead. You say you're behind. I don't believe you.
Well, I'm behind for me. But I counted the other day, not including like customers, not including like Better Beans customers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over 190 people I buy presents for. So you have a deep and wide list to power through. You know what I mean?
You got to start in August for that.
Yep. So yeah, that's the way that goes. So how are you doing? What's your big gifts you're getting the kids this year?
I have to ask my wife. I have no idea.
Are you kidding me?
I would prefer not to get toys or things like that. I'd prefer the things that they need, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Like, can we please have one more American Girl doll to step on and trample over? Please.
I'm just asking, what are you getting, Grinch? I mean,
I don't know.
You realize this is Jesus's birthday and like a time for joy and happiness and gift giving, right?
I do. I love that.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
But it doesn't hit me till next week, Saturday.
Okay. So you're a late guy.
Really, this Saturday.
So have you not been forced to watch like endless Christmas movies at your house for the last?
Yes. I cannot tell you how much I love The Christmas Story.
I didn't ask you what Christmas movie you liked. I said, have you not having to watch a bunch of Christmas movies?
Yeah. TBS,
I mean, my family has like a Hallmark movie on every night. Like it is the same story repeated. You know, they got like 3 different storylines that they repeat a million times, but it's my daughter and wife, I mean, they love Christmas. So I love Christmas. So that's where that is. So anyway, good.
Well, awesome. Wait, before we move on to our topics of conversation, do you do lights outside your house?
Okay. So we stopped lights outside my house. I live in a very quiet cul-de-sac that nobody drives by. So we stopped the Christmas light process outside. One, because it's a big fat pain in the rectum, and 2, because nobody sees them. So it's not worth it.
That is the first time Rectum has made our podcast.
Rectum.
It
No,
might
it's
be the
made it
last
3
time.
times. Rectum? That's 4.
End it right there. Yeah, it's a terrible. But so we are doing some basement work in our house right now, and we have unfortunately had a problem with exterior outlets, and so the absence of lights is making me feel super guilty. That's what I would like to do for the kids. Give them some lights.
That is not what they want for Christmas.
I know.
Not what they want for Christmas, Dad. That's a terrible idea. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, look, let me ask you about something else giving. The NCAAs last year finally gave up on their toehold on paying athletes, endorsements and athletes making money from their likeness. So look, sports are coming back, and sports will be back in full force in 2021 at some point. What happens when that happens? What happens with real endorsement money for NCAA athletes?
I think this is going to have a lot of unintended consequences. They started compensating athletes a few years ago, really, with travel vouchers, or you got paid depending on how far away you are from the school. You got paid a different amount, things like that. So, the unintended consequence is similar to the unintended consequence of, taking care of underprivileged kids by closing schools. Some people's argument was that the underprivileged population was disproportionately affected by COVID. So those areas are closing their schools. Well, the unintended consequence of that is those children not socializing or going to school, certainly not learning at the same pace that the ones that are going to school, which means they're falling further behind, which means they will be more likely to be more underprivileged in the next cycle of things. So the unintended consequence of this is the rich schools, the have schools, the Ohio States, the University of Georgia's, the Alabamas, those schools, the kids will line up to go there and to get paid for there. So those schools will get more athletes, and high, in high profile markets with large TV contingencies, like, schools that are in the, in larger cities or in larger metro areas that have better TV footprints. I mean, it is just going to all become about eyeballs, which means the rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer, and, the middle class will get screwed. It'll be the same thing on a small front with colleges. So if you want to know what I think is people think it's going to help a few kids, but on the large front, large school scholarships and money makers at these Power 5 schools, at the Oklahomas and the Texases and the USCs, you get someone, you get a young 18-year-old that goes there and they get paid, something, and that betters their life. Well, that betters one person's life. Well, there's only 85 on scholarship, so maybe it betters 85 people's life. But as a whole, if you take schools like North Georgia, those schools having scholarships money has a much more impact on our world and affects more people. So you have hundreds and hundreds of schools that won't be able to afford what some people are asking them to do. So, if North Georgia College gets NCAA money from the video game NCAA, but now they don't get as much because they're having to pay for the superstar. And look, I'm a capitalist. I'm all for it. I don't care. I'm just telling you, it's going to break the mold, and more people that needed some of these scholarships and items are not going to be getting them. This is going to be an unintended consequence. There you go. Economics lesson and political statement on college football.
Hey, no, well, all sports too, but hey,
Only
look,
one produces income though. Just remember that.
Equestrian.
Yeah, produces big money. Yeah, only football produces money. Basketball a little bit. Men's.
That's right.
So all the other sports lose money. So those that sport and at some schools basketball pay for all the North Georgia women's soccer team scholarships.
Yeah.
And so when you got to pay Jimmy at USC now, there's going to be less money going to Janie at North Georgia College playing soccer.
Big unintended consequence.
Yep.
Well, hey, let's talk about other business. So I saw an article this week, SpaceX, right? SpaceX is into their 47th launch.
Didn't they have an explosion last night?
What's that?
I think they had an explosion yesterday. Is that what you're asking about?
No. Well, they may have. I don't know. They did send a rocket to the ISS yesterday. Are you saying that something happened?
SpaceX Starship explodes spectacularly after a stressful high-altitude flight test.
Well, we may want to scratch this topic. I was going to tell you that SpaceX is launching an internet business. So
Yes.
you will be able to now, if you're in rural America, purchase your internet service from SpaceX.
Is it a business or did the government fund him to do this? Because most of his businesses is government funded.
It's still a business.
Okay. Is it?
But,
Is it really? Is the U.S. military a business? No.
No, not directly.
I don't know. I mean, I'm jealous I'm not Elon Musk. I mean, I am. I mean, dude just comes up with nutty ideas and gets money from the government. I don't know.
Yeah, $900 million so far for launching rockets.
Yeah, it's nuts. Good for him. I am jealous. I mean, he even gotten people to believe that like the Teslas are good for the environment because they don't, because they're electric, right? But
you don't believe they are?
Well, no. I mean, that's far less of the petroleum that's used. I mean, I think the body of the car is made up of 90% petroleum products.
No idea.
Huh?
No idea.
No idea what?
If you say so.
Do you know what makes plastic? I mean, understand that's a petroleum product,
is the
right?
car plastic?
Well, yeah, just like you'll fill your bumper. What do you think your bumper's made of?
Oh, I'm sure my bumper's plastic, but
What do you think the Tesla's bumper's made of?
Steel.
Steel? This isn't the DeLorean from Back to the Future. That's the only steel car I can remember.
Aluminum?
I mean,
composite.
Yeah, it's an alloy by its very name.
So you are not lining up to buy your internet from SpaceX at any point in time soon.
Well, yeah, if I need it, I would. I'm not an idiot. I'm just telling you. Again, I'm jealous I'm not him. He's pulled off some marketing lies better than anybody I've ever met. I mean, it's good for him.
Hey, you want to talk about pulling off marketing?
Yeah.
Guess where I'm going to lunch today? See,
I couldn't guess now.
You can't guess. Man, the McRib is back.
Oh, love the McRib.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you eat the McRib?
Yeah. I found out it's back. I'm going to go get one. Limited time offer.
I mean, I like it with no onions. Because if they would cook their onions a little bit more, the McRib would be better. But they're always like kind of raw. I don't really like that. But I got a great meme on this yesterday that said, Americans, like it's going to quote Americans, and it says, "I'm not taking any vaccine until I know what's in it." And then also Americans, the McRib is back. Let's go get it.
That's right.
The McRib is great. And I remember before the McRib came out, which is basically a piece of mystery meat with some raised bumps in it to look like grill marks, right? But what's great about this, and you probably don't know because I think you were raised rich. You went to a private school, right, growing up?
No, sir.
Okay. So, but for us public school lunch stuff, I mean, we had a version of the McRib far before the McRib came out, like a mystery meat. Now we all pretty much your meals in the week was we had mystery meat patty 1, which was like a country fried steak, a mystery meat patty number 2, which had more of a breading than a what do you call it? Breading like instead of a dip. What do you call when you fry fish, but it's not breading? You use a You dip it, batter.
Batter.
So one mystery meat powder was battered, and that was the steak. One was breaded, that was the chicken. That was a boneless little circle. And then we had the McRib. I mean, it wasn't the McRib; it was pre-McRib, and it had barbecue sauce on it.
It's genius.
Yeah,
Genius.
it's
Those
been
were
a great
terrible meals
LTO for a
growing up,
long
but-
time. You know, and these quick service restaurants live and die by their LTOs. I mean, everybody wonders why wouldn't you just put the McRib on all year long? Because it wouldn't drive traffic.
Mm-mm. It's getting me to go back. I don't go to a McDonald's, but like once or twice a year.
week?
No,
Oh, once or
no.
twice a year?
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me?
I've got to be desperate. I'll go to a Bojangles or a Chick-fil-A or a Zaxby's before I go to any of the other, like the old school McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. It's not.
Do you listen to AM 750 here in Atlanta, the WSB, the Mark Aram show?
No.
So Mark Aram, and for those of you listeners that aren't in Atlanta, you can like download the Mark Aram show. But like every night on his, or once a week on his call-in show, he has like the fast food review. And so he basically reviews these LTOs and different and new products at all the fast food restaurants. I mean, I picture this guy weighing 700
That's
pounds.
going to be enormous.
But it's an amazing, like he really breaks it down for you. It's pretty good.
Did you say every night?
I think it's once a week.
Okay.
Mark Aram shows on every night. I
Okay.
think the fast food reviews once a week. I'd have to.
We may
it's
need to
pretty
steal
good.
that.
I don't think your kids are old enough for you to eat more fast food, but like when they're old enough and both of them are active in things, you'll eat a little bit more than you do now.
Yeah.
Or you end up doing that, but you're missing out not going to Wendy's. And heck, McDonald's is. I mean, they're the superstar. I wouldn't suggest Burger King all that much, but those three are superstars.
My kids and the wife prefer
The Wendy's
Chick-fil-A.
salads are excellent.
Oh, really?
Excellent. Yeah.
I remember the Wendy's and the Chili's baked the baked potato on chili.
Mm-hmm.
For
Chili
whatever
on a
reason.
baked potato.
Chili on
It's not a baked potato on chili.
That's right.
They don't lay a bed of chili and put the potato on top
Oh,
of
but
it.
that'd be
Although
good
that'd be
too.
fine too.
So yeah, McRib is back. Genius marketing, I think.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so look, I mean, that to take away for our guys here, I mean, you know, doesn't matter what your business is, you know, your LTOs are important. Like get behind them, make it something that people look forward to coming back to see every year. You know, no matter your business, even if it's a service business.
Mhm. Speaking of yearly events, holiday parties. What obviously you're invited. Better Beans is Christmas party.
invited. I'm invited.
You're hosting it, aren't you?
I think I invited everybody.
6 and 1. There's only 7 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas party next week. Is
Kind of lame this year, right? No, we're COVID safe. No spouses, or we're not
No
going to party
spouses.
down somewhere.
Nope, no party down, no spouses, just us in the office.
Just lame beans.
Maybe we should just make everybody join by Zoom.
That would be super lame.
That would achieve lameness. So what is your go-to Christmas party activity event? What can we expect? Well, maybe a sneak peek.
Well,
here?
I don't want to give you anything to prepare for and not give all other members a chance to prepare for.
They're welcome to listen.
But the Christmas party will definitely have competitions, laughter, joy, agony of defeat, embarrassment. If I can accomplish
that sounds
all
like
of those.
a Monday meeting.
It does sound like our Monday meetings. It sounds like an episode of What That Thinks.
Yeah, there's a few
How
of those
close
things.
are we on our video of getting our edited video for all of our listeners that want to know if you made it?
I got a review request this morning, so I need to go check that out. I think there's some audio missing, and we should be done.
You need to forward it to me to review.
Yeah.
I don't really think you should be the editor in chief here
It's too late.
because you're going to take out some really good moments.
No, whatever. No.
Okay.
So we're like you said, 14 days away from Christmas, so that's 19 days away from the end of the year.
So
Wrapping up 2020.
So you're saying, are you saying that New Year's is now on December 30th. You want to try to how many days till the New Year again?
There, huh?
Yeah.
Let's add another day to that. So,
Okay. So New Year's this year, 2021 is on December 30th.
Well, it only depends on how you counted your, to the 25th.
Well, you should be able to tell how I counted to the
New Year's
25th if I just
Eve.
said 14 days.
How about this? New Year's Eve is in.
How
on
about
the
New Year's is
31st.
right around the corner?
Yeah, look, as businesses are wrapping up, what are some immediate plans to kind of take stock in 2020?
Well, I think we this should probably be a major topic of next week's podcast, of just getting your 2021 set up for those of you that haven't, and maybe refining your plans if you haven't done it. But any great plan probably comes to reviewing your 2020 goals first. And most people would have either had to majorly adjust their goals for 2020, or they didn't hit them, or they're much different than what they set out to accomplish, or at least had some big hiccups. I know overall revenue goals at like Better Beans were missed, 50% or 50% of what we planned to do because the growth got slowed, but you really need to analyze, and you can't, I about did it. And I don't want any of you listeners to fall into this mistake. This is next week's topic, Neil, but do not blame your year on COVID until you've broken down everything. So did you accomplish each of your action steps to reach a goal? Or why didn't you? Some people didn't do their action steps because they didn't want to spend the money because of COVID, but that's not because of COVID. That's because they didn't want to spend the money. They didn't have faith, or something like that. So you do need to recap 2020 as you're getting ready for 2021. You need to have an intentional set of goals and action steps that are going to set you up for success in 2021. And one area, we're part of a couple of focus groups out there, but one focus group we are, the last few years, we have made it a special goal each year for these business owners to set a goal of how they were going to take care of their employees and how they were going to develop their employees and help their employees reach their goals this year. And they had to have specific steps of how they were going to help their employees reach their goals in 2020, in whatever year it was. One of the people that was involved in that is our guest today. She is a friend. She's also a dynamic young business leader in the childcare community. She is currently the CEO and part owner of Yellow Brick Road, and just opened up a school she's the majority owner of, Seeds to Seedlings. And she's joining us. She's also the #1 listener of What Dad Thinks, which means she would never admit this in public, but she loves to hear what Dad thinks. But Jessica Johnson, are you there? She's here. She's muted, but she's here. There she is.
Hi.
How's it going?
I love to hear what you think, Thad. And I also love to hear what Neil thinks, but I know that's not the name of the show.
Lord of mercy. You care nothing about what Neil thinks.
I love Neil.
Okay. Jessica.
We all love Neil. That's not.
That's true. That's never been in question. Your love for Neil has not been in question.
Yeah, we all love Neil. It's just not the, we're at the steak place, not the ice cream parlor.
Oh, got it.
You get to pick what you like most here. But so tell us a little bit, without boring us to death, what you've been up to.
I've been warned several times not to be boring, so I'll do my best.
Which means sometimes you can just dance. Like you can even say boring stuff as long as you.
If I'm just like bebopping around, okay, I've definitely got that moved down. So I am in Minneapolis. I run 4 schools called Yellow Brick Road, which I came into about 1.5 years ago, just through some mutual connections that I had. And then it was a company that needed some revamping and some things to be changed around. And well, fortunately, that was kind of my experience as helping consult with that kind of stuff. And, we started to get that process really going, and bam, COVID hit. And that I couldn't agree more. It's do your best, not do your best given your circumstances. And so we took the time during the pandemic, the slowdown, to really make some cool changes and implement some cool stuff. And then we really did a great job. I think there's definitely some huge mistakes that I made, but that's cool. Everybody, you know, it was definitely a learn by trial and error. And then at the end of the summer, after listening to so many Better Beans podcasts, and Dad kept telling people, you know, get in or get out. I decided to get in a little more than I was in, which was a little bit risky, you know, given the current economic state, but I had an opportunity come to me to take over Seeds to Seedlings, which is near my current schools, but not a direct competitor. And so I jumped at that opportunity, and here we are. So it's two separate companies that now we're running and partially own in different ownership groups, but I'm super excited to be part of it. Seeds to Seedlings is a charming school, and it's so different it's everything that everybody was 25 years ago. And it's killing it. So it's really fun, and it's back to the basics, which Dad says you should never get so far away from the basics. You have to go back. But
that's a big no if you got to say back to basics.
Yep. I remember. I write down all your important lessons, Dad.
There you go. So Seed to Seedlings, you're a part of it's some of the same owners as Yellow Brick Road, or a little different. And we haven't even caught up on this. So.
Yep, we haven't caught up on it. It's some of the same, but
a little different.
Yep,
different structure. I got you.
Yeah.
So are you are you going to rebrand?
I'm not. No, I'm going to run.
You're going to keep the names separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good deal. Well, you know, I do know some people. If you decide that you need some branding help up there,
yeah,
I could put you in touch with a couple of people.
And that I have to tell you, I'm very strategically placed in my office right now, because I know if there's things that you could see behind me that you would be on a plane immediately to come help me rebrand.
Well, it took Neil. I mean, how long did it take us to get Neil in front of a good looking sign?
Well, and now it's an amazing looking sign. Who came up with that idea? You have a sign
beautiful.
Guy? Beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's a Jordan and Ted collaboration. And Dusty, our woodworker, did all the custom walnut work behind it, and then and Ted built the sign out.
It's great, Neil. You did those plants were moving all over. You had a bunch going on, but you've got it nailed down now.
I was going to hang some maps in front of it.
Oh yeah, maps.
Maps, flowers, blank. I mean, it just got worse and worse.
I might bring one of those back for year end.
Yeah. Let's do that. We'll burn them on air. We'll like that.
You can't burn a virtual background.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, he's not really in front of that sign.
I know. I can tell when he moves.
Yeah. You did a call recently, like in front of the actual sign, though.
I did, but there's a light glare that I have no control over.
And and it hits your bald head, and it hurts.
Yeah, so it does this shiny thing.
Yep.
So. But back to Jess.
Back to me. Yeah, the other option.
You don't get no. First off, you don't get to decide when we go back to Jess, Neil. Let's make that clear. Why are you shrunking your head in the corner? Can you like center yourself or something?
It's the lighting.
Well, the light.
There you go. That's
the light again. It's on my head.
You like shrunk in the corner. You look like you were like.
I'm trying to prevent the light from bouncing off my forehead.
My kids make fun of the size of my forehead all the time.
They call it a 5 head.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they do like this right here.
Kids are fun.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, for those of you that don't know Jess, I mean, she has been in the childcare business as a director, assistant director. She was a consultant. She worked in the software, right? Weren't you with CRM?
I worked with childcare CRM when you got it, Thad.
Yeah, so way back, you know, so she was with CRM, so software side. She's been on the marketing side with, I think, Childcare Marketing Solutions. She's been with manager development, really, with Georgetown Hill, and now CEO over her own little piece of the world up in Minnesota. So I would say Yeah, and pretty much you said you credited um, really our podcast with all your success. Was that
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what
Things
okay.
really
I
turned
thought
around.
I heard that right. I just wanted to make sure we got that recorded.
And I was with Georgetown Hill with Pete Cromwell, who is one of my favorite podcast guests of yours.
Yeah, we're supposed to have him back soon.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk with him after the election.
Yeah, but I've kind of kept a low profile after the election.
Why?
I'd like to continue that.
Yeah, we'll just,
Pete would be a really good guest for that, though.
well, I'm ready to talk to him about that. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk and hear about what all we think. But anyway, we are going to touch on that a little bit during What Thad Thinks today. So as you're getting your goals, you're recapping 2020, you're looking forward to 2021, you're here at the end of the year, your financials are getting ready to wrap up, your tax liabilities are about to pop up. You're thinking about your people. You're thinking about how crappy. Most people are thinking about how crappy or how crazy 2020 was. Some of us are thinking about that it still was a great year. I talked to James, James and Gina out in Arizona, and I was talking to them yesterday. And I mean, he does not want me to say this. But he doesn't listen except at the very end of the podcast. Did you know that, Neil?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet he'll listen to this one. James, I love James.
James he doesn't want to hear any of the small talk.
Oh, he hates a small talk.
I believe that.
So, but anyways, he's had a record profit. So his best profit year, in a number of years. And I kind of feel that's the way it is for most people. It's kind of the haves and have nots again, similar to what Neil and I were talking about at the beginning. But as we think about getting ready for 2021, one thing was, and Jessica, you remember a few years ago, we really wanted to intentionally set out to find out from business owners how they were going to develop their people, how they're going to help their people reach their goals in a year. And so I know that's important to you, which, as we thought about you for a guest, this was perfect that this was something you wanted to talk about as well. But how are we going to keep great morale in 2021? And how are we going to intentionally, because I want our guests to intentionally figure out what they're going to do for morale in 2021 now and lay it out. So what are your favorite things? What are a couple of your favorite ways to boost morale, whatever, or just how important it is to you, Jessica?
Yeah. So one of the big game changers that I do through communication with my team, and I feel like this needs to be heard right now across the industry and all industries really, is the arrival fallacy is a thing. And I think right now everyone has this vision that we're going to hit 2021 and COVID's going to go away, or at least, get better, and we're all going to go back to work, and everyone's going to go back to eat at restaurants, and we're going to be there, right? And that is one thing that I constantly remind my team, and not in a negative way, but in a really positive way of, guys, we don't, there's no there. So you show up, you work hard every single day, you develop yourself every single day, and you don't ever get to a place. There's no place that we're going to hit in my world where we all go to Hawaii and don't have to work anymore. Because then who would watch the kids, right? And so that's the biggest thing that I remind them is, as soon as this is over, it's going to be something else. Oh, yeah. And so how do we prepare for that? What does that look like? How do we pivot? We adopted a couple mantras with my team early on with COVID. And one of them was Brene Brown's FFT, which is freaking first time. And so everything that we went through in the last year, it was our FFT, right? We've never maneuvered a pandemic before. We've never maneuvered distance learning for preschoolers before. And so it's keeping those things at front and never being like, oh, as soon as we get to Friday, as soon as we get fully staffed, and I tell them there is no staff member who is going to come in and change your culture. And so, and again, it's not a negative. It's not negative. It sounds maybe a little negative. I'm waiting for Thad to be like, wow, Debbie Downer. But we just have that mindset of let's do amazing things right now in our situation. And then let's do amazing things in the next situation that's presented. And that's the mindset that we all have.
I love, go ahead. Breathe. I'm going to try to snag a nugget or two out of there for them. No, I am all in on the arrival fallacy, not only for just as a way of life anyway. one thing that we talked about in a management meeting this week is, we're taking over similar to probably Seeds and Seedlings. We are typically acquiring, 20 to 40-year-old childcare businesses that had a heyday and that are not in their heyday anymore. And usually that was an arrival fallacy as well. Like, they do so well, they stop innovating, they stop getting better, they stop challenging themselves to be better. I was talking to Jerry, Pastor and Jane the other day about the same types of things where they want, their company to constantly be thinking about bettering our best. Which they said it a different way, but that's one of our customers is a high school football team in Georgia, and they're saying across their chest each week on their shirt is better our best, and they keep wanting to better their best. And that's kind of the whole thing about the arrival fallacy. Nobody's going to change it. However, I'm going to challenge one thing you said slightly. I agree with it in a way, but you said one person can't change a company's culture. I do think one person can change the culture, and only saying that you have quickly seen, even either in a department, in a classroom, or companies, gets the right person in charge, a new manager, a new director, a new teacher, and the culture changes overnight. That doesn't really change the arrival fallacy portion, but it is kind of, since you brought it up, I'm going to say the other. But to anybody that's listening to what Jessica said, very wise. There is no here. The vaccine's not saving you. A new president's not saving you. A new director's not saving you. A new hire in a building's not saving you, or not saving you from your need to better your best constantly. So keep that in mind. So that was a great one. I like that, Jessica. Have you breathed now? Have you caught your breath? You feel good?
I'm good now. Was I turning blue? I tend to.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were. I thought I was saving you.
You got to slow me down a little bit. Yeah.
Well, no, I get it. I get it. You're our fangirl. I mean, you love the show and you're on. And I get it. I totally get it. Well, what are your two biggest for staff? What are you thinking about for your teams this year? How are you going to boost morale, or what are two of your favorite ways you've boosted morale in the past?
Yeah. So, and I will answer the question about looking forward, but one thing that I do consistently to boost morale, and that I don't want to use the word preach, but I kind of preach to my leadership team, is that we go in and we work alongside. It's there's a friend of mine has a football team and his shirt says, no one cares, work harder. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the better your best thing. And that's sort of my thought process, is that one of my biggest morale boosters in my organization. And again, I came into a culturally rough environment, and we've gotten that changed, and I work alongside people. And I think my biggest thing that I tell people is admit your mistakes and make your mistakes publicly. I'll go into an infant room and I'll be like, help me clean these tables. What's the process? And I had a staff member look at me once and go, are you trying to trick me to catch me doing something wrong? And I was like, no way. But the biggest thing through this pandemic, and I dug my heels in and I said, I'm not going to lay off anybody. I'm not going to furlough anybody. I'm not going to fire anybody, because of COVID. And I went in there and I worked alongside them. And if there was a COVID case, I showed up. And I went into the school with COVID and I helped deal with it. And so did the rest of my leadership team. My regional, Kylie, she's right there alongside me. And we do it with them, and we don't do it in a way that's preachy or supervisory. Is if, I'm here from 6 to 6, I was sanitizing. I had 2 parents, which was not by design. I think it went a long ways for morale, but it wasn't by design. I had 2 parents catch me in sweatpants, bleaching the school because I was just leaving at 6 a.m. when they were getting there. And, nobody wants to make someone else richer if they don't think that person is working just as hard. And trust me, if any of my employees listen to this, no one's making me richer, but people don't like to work for organizations. They want to work for people who are in it with them. And that has gone the furthest for me, is that all of my staff know that my directors, my leadership team, my regionals, me that we're gonna come in there when things get tough and work right alongside them. And then, yeah, I don't want to know all the answers. I like to be the dumbest person in the room, and that's my goal. And I tell my teachers that all day long. If you better be a better teacher than I am, that's the goal. Otherwise, you have to come back here and do the boring stuff. And so that's the message that I send to my team, and we build their confidence, and I stay in my lane. I get out of the way after that. I have people who do curriculum and operations, and I let them do it. Do I have opinions? Always.
We're laughing at Neil. Neil and I are laughing at each other.
Oh,
right
I
now.
was like, wait, are you calling me out right here publicly?
Oh, no, but
me.
like,
I try to stay in
I
my
didn't mean to laugh because, like, if you said I'm going to stay in my lane, I'm going to get out of people's way, and then so I look at Neil and start to smile, and Neil's already locking eyes with me because he knew I was going to be looking at him. He was
You're
checking.
a plant. You're a plant. You planted that.
I did not plant that. Jessica, I have not discussed that topic at all.
No, we haven't. Neil, do you not?
I love staying in my lane.
Oh yeah. When do you do it?
When I'm asleep.
On the highway? Yeah.
Oh,
No,
he
I
doesn't do it
don't
on the
do it on the
highway.
highway.
Worst driver you ever been with.
Oh man.
That should be our next reality show, is like take a loyal listener and make them go like on a, or the three of us, like a loyal listener and me and you, Neil, like on a 8-hour car ride, and you get to drive, Neil. That would be, I mean, can you imagine
I'm thrilled I'm doing my loyal listener duties right now. And so I've already like checked off.
Yeah, we're looking for a format change in 2021, so it might go on. The show might go on the road.
yeah, on the road with Thad and Neil, on the road with Thad, not Neil.
No. I've actually been on the road with you, Thad, looking at sites, and I'm not trying to volunteer to do that again either.
There you
Pull
go.
over. I'm going to go hop this fence real quick and look at this building.
Well,
I know.
I do trespass from time to time.
I won't say where because I don't know if anybody's looking for you.
Yeah, that's true. That was like I think that was government property.
I think it was, and I was trying not to out you publicly.
Like a satellite facility.
I was so uncomfortable, and I almost left you, but I thought Neil would be unhappy with me.
Oh, mate. So all right, so you've got two things on morale boosters. You mentioned one was get your hands dirty and show you no jobs beneath you a little bit, and you said one kind of let your people be the experts, and I think those are one of them is excellent. One of them is maybe. I disagree.
Okay, what does Thad think about that?
So I think we have had an episode on this a little bit, or we brushed this subject quickly. I don't think. I think your people need to know you're willing to get your hands dirty with them. But, but if I have to mop a floor, we got problems. If I have to clean a table, we have problems. If I got to bleach a wall, we got problems. My eyeballs are missing something else. So I think what people really, and it's all your style, right? So, I mean, this is just my style. I don't think anybody in my organization thinks I'm too good to do something, but they're not going to catch me cleaning the wall because that's not what I do. I mean, I lead. My eyeballs are somewhere else. And as soon as if I see Neil out of his lane, willing to help load a truck, for instance. So let's take your example. We had a truck that was delivering to one of our customers an hour away from the office, delivering a new climbing structure, a tree we designed, like a climbing tree we designed. And it was a special order type thing. And so Neil decides to go out there and help the men unload it and put it in their whatever, unload it. So that was a 3.5, 4 hour turnaround to go to the office. Leave the office, go unload it. Now everybody knows that Neil was willing to do that, and he's a hard worker. Way to go, Neil. But in that 4 hours, all the other stuff we could have gotten done. 4 hours of Neil's time, Neil works his ass off. 4 hours, he can do a lot of stuff. He can make a lot of money. Not for him, but for other people. Because see, Neil is responsible for 5 or 6 other people, right? Yeah. And the more money the company makes, the more money those people make. So his responsibility is to make more money so his people get paid more and that they reach their goals. So I kind of think when that gets out of whack and you're out of your lane, showing your people you're willing to do something and that something's not beneath you, you're missing something would help them make money.
That's
Because
fair.
bleaching that wall, you could have paid someone $10 an hour to do. And I guess you make more money than that and are more valuable to the company than that.
Yeah, I think it's
It's what that thinks. That was it.
Oh, it's not what Jess thinks. You're right.
I get to be right. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I think we're saying the same thing, that your people have to know. And I'm new. I'm newer-ish in that place. So I think them knowing that I'm going to show up and be there and that I'm going to work hard. And the point is that they have to know that you're working just as hard as them, whether you're doing the same things or different things. And, and
that'll help get their respect for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been a big morale thing. And that didn't really answer the developing people. But that's how I've been, how I've managed to turn companies around before in the past and, how things are going now. As far as developing people, I think, and Thad, you say this a lot also, is knowing what people want to do personally and how to get there and putting that back on them and then offering guidance along with that. It is not my responsibility to make people happy. It is my responsibility to give people opportunities to make themselves happy. And I have to do my work to do that piece of it. But with my leadership team, our goal is that they all know what every single staff member wants to be when they grow up, and how to help them get there. So if they want to be a history teacher, how do you, how in an infant teacher do you get to your goal of being a history teacher someday? And how can we help you get there? I have everybody, that is my leadership team goals. And I know what all of my leadership wants to do. And I try to take what they like to do. I have one amazing director, and she's a godsend for licensing.
You only have one amazing director?
Oh, no.
You said you have one amazing director. So I want everybody in the Yellow Brick Road family and everybody at Seeds and Seedlings to understand that here in Georgia, Thad Joyner needs lots of great directors. And if you're looking for someone that appreciates you, I'm right here.
See, this is Thad trying to poach my people because he knows all of my directors are amazing. And if you could see my face, podcast listeners, you would know how I reacted to his.
I am definitely poaching, and that's what I do.
Hey, you do you, Thad. My people are good. They'll keep with me. One of my amazing directors is really good at licensing. And so, I let her have that subject expertise because she's way better at it. And it's like, girl, like, you're good at that stuff. That's her passion. And so now she gets to do it at all 4 sites, right? And so it's helping people. I have other directors who don't love the licensing piece. They like the curriculum piece. And so then how did they help my other 4 schools? And so it's a well-rounded team instead of trying to force everybody to do everything at all times. And so how do you develop that? How do you make those opportunities? And then how do you follow through on those things and then hold them accountable? So
I like to think about, I think when we talk about morale or development, and keeping their morale high while developing them, they kind of go hand in hand a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, for our listeners, you need to be intentional about the morale, like we said earlier. Also in your development, and you've got kind of 3 categories of people that you should be thinking about. Number 1 is like your senior team or your executive team. So, their development and morale doesn't need to be addressed in the same way as your middle management team, right? Your on-site managers, your, assistant managers, your curriculum team, your marketing people, all those are kind of middle management. Make sure your executive team, you are addressing intentionally their morale, their development. Same with middle management. And then finally with your, when we get out of the ass sitters and get into the real workers, the teachers, the hourly workers, the people in your organization that get the work done. Neil and I were on a call with a national exterminating brand today that Better Beans is doing some work for. And the grandfather that founded the company said, everybody that was in the support center, the home office, the headquarters, all of you are ass sitters. These other people are the ones that are getting work done. So he referred them to us all as ass sitters. I don't know what that looks like on a business card, but look forward to
Senior ass
getting to
sitter.
know that company more.
Boy, am I logging into Vistaprint after this call.
I mean, I'm an ass sitter. Thinking about that a little bit, how do we address, hourly employees different than managers when it comes to their development?
Are you asking me, or is that rhetorical?
Usually the how at the beginning, and then the long pause at the end means I wanted someone to answer that.
I thought it was like a reflective moment for your listeners, but I've listened enough.
Okay, we can all take 10 seconds of silence.
Woo.
That was not even, now I'm at 10.
Now you're at 10. Okay. So the way for me is that everything that you do, and this is a Rochelle Kiner thing, and she's just, so great. Everything you do for your parents and your customers, you should be doing for your staff. And so my theory and approach is that everything that I do for my leadership team, they should be turning around and doing for their staff. And we talk about what it looks like to turn around and do it for your staff, because sometimes it looks a little bit different. But if we have a book club for our leadership team, which we do, and we read a book together and we talk about it, how do they then look at that for their staff? Do they print out articles for them to all read and comment on them? Because our challenges are different, right? They're a lot of the staff who are working, who are the non-ass sitters, they're working with children. And so they don't need to read, Leaders Eat Last, but they might need to read an article or a book about biting. And so how do you take what we do as the leadership team to personally develop, and how do you then apply that to your teachers? And it is very clear, and it's getting clear in my organization that, I lead my team and they lead their people. And so I can't do all of it. I will absolutely be there with them. I will, do the work, but I can't lead 75 people. I need to lead 9 who then turn around and they each lead 20. And that math is not right, Thad. Don't even go there with me. They turn around and lead 10 each.
Yeah. So let me ask you, this is a key question as I get ready for 2021, as I'm preparing, and you can probably help me when it comes to morale. How do I improve Neil's morale? I mean, because really, to this point, he's had a terrible year. I have beat him up into the ground. He doesn't even feel like he can show his face on the screen right now. There he is. How could I go about treating Neil and making him feel a little better about himself in 2020?
This isn't even believable, Jess.
Have you
Like
tried
you said,
dropping
there's
him
no
off for
answer.
2 weeks in the wilderness? Have you tried that?
Yeah, we tried the wilderness adventure. We tried that. We tried the company retreat.
Oh, man.
How else do I get Neil to feel better about himself?
Well, you're going to have to know Neil and build a relationship with Neil.
Okay. I know him well. I mean, nobody knows him better than me. And it's totally working. Neil, do you have any ideas for your morale in 2021?
Is this a Neil problem or a Thad problem, Neil?
Yes.
Extreme Ownership. Have you read the book Extreme Ownership, Thad?
He has it.
Let me look.
He has it.
That one?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have you read it? I didn't ask if you had it, if it was on your bookshelf. I asked if you've read it.
Have I what now?
Oh, I said, have you read it? I didn't ask if you had it on your bookshelf and available. You've read it.
I've read it, yeah. What good Marine wouldn't? It's like I wrote it.
Oh, whoa.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm Jocko, but I mean, I'm saying
Your lead.
I don't like to read. I mean, that stuff's too aligned with how I operate to read. Like it's to me. Like it's not as challenging.
So you didn't read it?
What's that?
You didn't read it?
No, I read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I read it, but what I'm saying is it's not one that I revisit because it's kind of me. Like that's kind of me. It's not.
But you're wiring.
Yeah, it's already I'm wiring. Yeah. I do give it out though. I gave it to my brother Sage quite a bit. Okay. So here's something that I do think, and you kind of encapsulated it, and you also set me up for like an alley-oop right here. This is really good. So good transition. That's what the radio people would say. Okay, so my favorite management book away from the Bible would be 1 Minute Manager. Everybody knows that. Talk about it all the time. Very first chapter introduction quote that they give that they want people to know is that people that feel good about themselves produce good results.
Yeah.
Classic Ken Blanchard, and perfect statement. So as we talk about morale, as we talk about 2021, as we talk about goals, realize that the people that are going to produce good results are the people that feel good about themselves. So your job with morale is to make them feel good about themselves. Now, we can dig deeper on that. And we'll dig deeper, I guess, a little bit on it in a few minutes. But if you want people to feel good about themselves, it's not morale boosters. It is teaching them how to measure themselves against a result, and teaching them to get their own wins. Jessica said it earlier. She's not responsible for people's happiness. You're right. You're not. You're responsible to show them how, find out what makes them happy and show them how to get there. Help them get there. Help them realize their own goals. The old, some organizations tell you to bowl. It's like going to the bowling alley and they tell you to bowl, right? And they don't even show you where the pins are. They don't even tell you how many there are. There's a sheet up in front of them, right? And so you roll. Maybe you hear them. You don't know how many you knocked down. You don't know how good you did. And so, I go to companies that don't show their people their bottom line. They don't show them the P&L. So they don't know how many pins they knocked down. And then you go to other organizations. They do a little bit better, and the manager stands behind the curtain and they go bowling. And when they knock them down, they turn around and go, "Hey, you hit 5." And then they shut the curtain. Really, most managers come out and go, "You missed 5," and they just give them the negative, right? But the best organizations, the one where people feel the best about themselves, that know how good they are and learn what kind of quality work they put out. There's no sheet. There's no mystery to the scoring system. Everybody can score it. You always know where everybody stands. Everybody's trying to help the other person knock more pins down. And that's where you have the best morale, the best results. Anyone disagree?
I couldn't agree with you more, actually.
What a way to end our segment with our number one listener saying something along the lines of, "I could not agree with Thad more. He is the reason I'm having so much success. Him and his podcast are the reason we're having so much success in Minnesota."
It's definitely along those lines.
Yeah, something like that. Jessica, we need to have you on again. Are you going to join us again?
Yes. If not, you guys will just go on air and publicly beg me again.
Bash you. And maybe I'll look for a couple of your directors that aren't very good. The ones that you said that aren't good.
You're not going to find any of my directors that aren't very good. Sorry to say that.
You said you only had one that was good, so you're going to have to do some hiring.
One of.
Now she's fixing it.
I have the best directors and the best teams and the best enrollment specialists and the best Kylie.
Awesome. Well, I need to get up there and see you sometime soon as things with travel, lets up a little bit, but super proud of you. And lucky to have you as a friend. We're lucky to have you as a guest. Thank you so much for joining us, Jess.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was really fun. That was not what I was trying to do, but I did not want to come on and get beat up when I said I was your number one listener.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, as soon as you did it, I said, we got to have her on. She's got to be on next week. So cool. That was great. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. And hopefully everybody enjoys this episode. And now it's time for really people's favorite portion. Less of Neil, less of Jessica, more of me. It's time for What Thad Thinks. So, hey, look, why don't people in the United States right now, these Americans, why don't we feel good? Why is the mood so down? Why don't people feel like you just saw Jessica, a real happy person? Neil, Mr., constant positivity and hope. Why aren't people rays of sunshine right now? Why is there so much protest, so much violence, so much unrest, so much election crap, so many conspiracy theories? Everywhere you turn, it's something. I think it comes down to a little bit of who are we dependent on for our happiness? Are we spending too much time in morale boosters and hoping that a new president will make us happy, or hoping an elected official will make us happy, or hoping a new boss will make us happy, or hoping a new employee will make us happy, or a transfer will make us happy, or retirement will make us happy. It's a constant search for something you're not going to find. Happiness, hope doesn't come from other people. Sure as hell doesn't come from politicians. Most of us as people, we want to be bigger. We want a reason in life that's bigger than ourselves. I've got it down to 4 things for happiness. Number 1, do you have purpose? Is there something bigger than yourself that you believe in? For me, it's God. But if you have purpose, something you believe in bigger than yourself, there may be something that, that's one reason so many people in our country don't have that. Number 2 is we've forgotten self-reliance in this country, right? My mama always taught me, I get to choose my attitude. Every day, every minute, I get to choose my reactions. Yes, can someone make you mad? Of course, but you get to choose whether you're going to be mad or be joyful. Self-reliance. The reason you're in the position you are is a series of choices that you made, not that someone else made for you. So number 1, have purpose. Number 2, self-reliance. Number 3 is hope. You have to have hope that tomorrow can be better than today. And that's why some politicians have won office based on that word of hope. But you need that hope. Have it. I think I'm a forever optimist, because no matter how bad something gets, I always know tomorrow can be a little bit better. And lastly is love. So I've got purpose, self-reliance, hope, and love. And what do I mean by love, man? It's love other people. And I've told you that on this show. This has been a part of What That Thinks, probably 10 times already. But man, love other people. Show it. Show it to your employees. Show it to everybody you come in contact with. Be forgiving. Nobody is showing love to the other side right now in this political fight in this country. We've got 50.5% of the country, that hates the other 49.5%. It's crap. Show love, patience, understanding. That love is contagious. In your organizations, it's also contagious. So why don't people feel good and happy in this country right now? They don't have that purpose. They're not relying on themselves. They don't have hope. And they're not showing love to somebody else. Thank you for tuning in to What That Thinks, powered by Better Beans Branding, the absolute industry leader in remodel, rebrands, interior design, and signage. Do not screw up and not use us. Give us a call, free calls, email, look us up online at betterbeansbranding.com. Anything you like. Thank you for subscribing. Big thanks to Jessica for joining us today, and we will see y'all next week. Adios.